All right, we are live. So, gonna give it a second and let some people come in. I'm live on Facebook, on the Cromwell Funeral Home Facebook page, and YouTube. Okay, so I see the notifications coming in. Lady Manning, did you have a good day today?
I did. It was wonderful because I'm coming back from the retreat and I'm still just thinking about all the tools that were given out, and I have such clarity. So, yeah, I had a good day.
Yes, I did too. It was a pretty good day.
Mhm.
I woke up a little lethargic, but that's because I came home and I went and took me a wonderful nap, and then I wasn't able to go back to sleep last night. But it's okay. I had a good day.
I went to sleep. Believe you me, I went to sleep.
What? I'm shocked.
Yes. I didn't have anything left. So I went to sleep. It was good. I needed it. I needed to kind of unwind
Yeah.
and shake it all off.
Okay. Well, good evening, LaQuinda. Thank you for joining us. When you guys come in, if you would please let us know that you're there and share the live. Share the live. I am letting them know right now that we are live. With Lady Sonia Manning.
Oh my God. All you had to do was say was Sonya Manning. Oh my God.
They don't want to miss this. This is going to be powerful. All right, I shared it. Sonia, have you shared it to your page?
I'm new to all of this. So I'm barely on here. So
Oh, oh
uh,
no, no.
do you really want me to mess with this? Alexa just has exited. So do you really want me to?
No. I'm gonna see what I can do on my end.
Yes, that's maybe tell Falana to post it and tell them because she have access to my page. I think Jeannie has access to my page. I think Sonya Manning Ministries. I think Kia has access to Am I My Sister's Keeper? See how I'm just rolling it? Yeah, they have. They have to
Okay,
look out for me. Yes, yes, yes,
all right,
yes.
all right. Well, I'm gonna let the ladies know.
Yes, I think Nita has access to my page.
Right. When you come in, if you would let us know that you're here. I'm looking at the comments. I see we do have a few more visitors right now. The reason that we are going live, if you've been watching our Facebook page, you know that this month is Suicide Awareness Month. And so as we come to the end of that, can you all still see me? As we come to the end of the month, I just thought it was very important to take this time to raise awareness and share hope and encourage meaningful steps towards one of today's most pressing mental health challenges. And so, our mission is to make it possible for individuals, families, and communities to have honest conversations about suicide, recognize the signs of distress, and connect with life saving support. You are not alone. And so I am joined with Lady Sonia Manning, and she is going to share her story with us. Does anyone have any questions before we begin? All right. Well, Sonia, I'm going to turn it over to you. Going to give you the
Oh,
floor.
oh wow, just like that. Wow.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I guess I can go back maybe 2006. Um I was trying to get pregnant, and I did. Uh, and then I was feeling funny from the beginning. And just to make a long story short about this part, I didn't really want any children from the beginning. I just loved doing ministry. I was good with that and I was fine. But my husband decided he wanted to have children. And I contemplated doing that, but I'm like, okay, he wants to have one. And then when we started, it seemed like we was having complications. We didn't seem to get pregnant. It was always we was having some issues or something. And I ended up getting pregnant with Kennedy. And the first trimester was kind of difficult for me. I was always sick.
Mhm.
I had to get on bed rest and everything. And I made it all the way until she was, I think I was like 28 weeks. I started having some problems. Uh, and then they were saying that the baby wasn't going to make it. And I
Mhm.
needed to make some decisions. And they were going to check me out. And then I ended up making it to 34 weeks. I was rushed to the hospital. The baby came. She looked healthy. She looked normal on the outside, which she had everything, but her lungs just wasn't developed. And she didn't cry, she didn't breathe, and I think she lived like 9 hours. She lived 9 hours. And with me being at a Catholic hospital in Monroe, St. Francis, if the baby was born alive, you had to bury that baby. And I was lying there in bed at the hospital asking, why me? What did I do wrong?
Mhm.
And I suffer with migraines. And I was thinking whether or not maybe the migraine medication may have caused something, or did I work too long because I was a hairstylist? Did I where I standing on my feet too long? I began to blame myself,
Mhm.
not thinking that okay, this is something that happens. God has the last say, but no, I blamed me, and so I was trying to figure out. Just I just had the baby. This had just transpired. Then I automatically started blaming me in that hospital. And then I had to call the mortuary
Mhm.
to come pick my baby up. I had to plan a funeral from the hospital bed. And it was a lot. And then he came to get the baby. And the baby, like I said, we was in Monroe. And then I had to get the baby moved to Strong to have the funeral like in 2 days. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was feeling bad, but I'm the type of person I was trying to suppress my feelings. And so I was just trying to move on and forget that it ever happened. But dealing with something like that, you just can't forget that it ever happened, because when a commercial would come on concerning a child, I would cry. And I had a sister in law and a niece, we were all pregnant at the same time. Their babies lived, and then therefore I had to go to baby showers, because I'm the type of person I'm gonna show up, regardless of I'm gonna show up. But then I noticed I started getting depressed. I didn't really want to talk about it. I wanted to just be alone. And I was still trying to figure out, what was wrong with me, why my body just wouldn't allow it to be. What did I do wrong? Why did their babies live and mine did not live? And I was trying to wrap my head around that, saying, God, I'm doing ministry. God, I'm praise and worship leader. God, I'm doing this, but still trying to figure out what's wrong with me. not thinking about sometime, that's God's way of taking care of things. I just
Mhm.
couldn't figure that out at the time because it was more easier just to blame me, for what had happened. And so my husband and I, we had went on. Um, and we were talking about some things, and I just wanted to close the door. And then like I said, I don't want to talk to anybody. Oh God, I just wanted to move on and put my smile on, put my lipstick on, and I just wanted to get back out there. And then at that time, I didn't talk to anybody.
Mhm.
I just moved on because I'm thinking I'm good. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side. The baby didn't work out, and I told my parents I don't want to talk about it. The church people, I was at my dad's church. I don't want to talk about it. They were saying, "Well, I don't want to pray over it. I want to move on," and
Okay.
that was my way of handling things. But the first Mother's Day that they had at the church, oh my God, it was awful because
Mm.
the children were coming up giving their parents the mothers flowers and saying, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't have a child. I was carrying a child. One was born. I delivered a child, but
Mm.
I don't have a child. And then a lot of people were saying I shouldn't have named her. I decided to name her because she was a person.
Right.
She was my first daughter, and I had to deal with a lot of people thought that was crazy because I gave her a name. But to me, she was my daughter. She was my firstborn, and I decided to name her Kennedy. And at that time, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with being a mother. I'm done with trying to have babies. I just want to push forward and move on. I'm thinking that I'm healed. I'm thinking that I'm fine. I don't need anybody. I'm good. But I really wasn't good because
Mm.
there was a void there. And I felt like everybody was just looking at me, to be honest, because everybody always think it's the lady's fault. I don't know, for some reason, like it took you a long time to get pregnant, it's your fault. They never think about the man, like it could be their fault or something. And so
Right.
I just felt like I had this scarlet letter on my head, like poor pitiful Sonia, oh,
Mm.
her baby died. Oh, she couldn't carry the baby. Oh my God. Oh, she just want, it's like, to me, people was looking at me like I had this look,
Okay.
and that, yeah, that they just wanted to take care of me, or I was less than, or like I'm not a real woman because I didn't my child didn't make it, or she couldn't carry her to term, or like I was a weak person.
Mm.
All of that was
Was
running through my head, and that was one of the worst times of my life because at that point I just saw myself as less than a woman. Why you want to be married to a lady that can't even seem to give you a child? Not thinking about my feelings, but society saying, hey, you didn't have a baby. Not realizing all you have to do is other ways to be a mother.
right.
But society makes you feel if you can't do it in the normal way, you're really not a mother, and you carry that. And then,
Mm.
you have some ladies that feel like, well, I'm better than you because I carried my own child. Oh,
Mm.
I birthed my own child. And I just felt like I was less than. And so then after all of that, I called myself pushing forward, just moving on. I got through the Mother's Days. And then I just began to just go on and seek God. And to be honest, I forgot all about it. I did. And at that time, oh, let me take you, I could not even give my child a headstone. I could not even go out there to the cemetery.
Wow.
I just wanted to act like she did not exist. And
Mm.
it never happened. I just wanted to bury it because sometimes as church folk they teach you just to bury things and just don't deal with it. Pray it. You can't pray away everything. Like I said, it's nothing like prayer, a cup of Joe, and a little therapy. I tell you,
Mm.
because you can't pray everything away. And as being a leader, yeah, we can lead you to God. We can do some things spiritually, but I mean, God has equipped therapists, people to go to school to get the skills to teach you how to deal with issues.
Right.
And some leaders may disagree with that. That's their thing. I have the right to what I believe and what I feel and what I think. And I just think there's nothing wrong with going with therapy. And I think that God need to send you someone that's faith driven. If that's you, and you want somebody to go with you, just pray about God to what therapist I should say to go to. And so after that, we moved on. Oh, my husband decided to tell me, talk about it. He said, Sonya, let's try again. I'm like, you crazy. You crazy. You didn't have to deal with the emotional part of all of that. You
Mhm.
didn't have to let the people look at you like it was something wrong with you. And you talking about you want to have a baby. Get out of here. You kidding me? Get out of here.
Mhm.
Okay. We tried again. I think I was 32 weeks this time.
Wow.
I was on bed rest again. They rushed me to the hospital. My doctor, she was the specialist. They
Uh-huh.
rushed a high risk specialist. They rushed me to the hospital. She said that it was false alarm. I mean, the baby was just stretching. Okay. I went back home. I wasn't feeling good again. And so I supposed to be going to see the specialist that comes from, he was at St. Francis that comes from New Orleans,
Mhm.
and he wanted to see me. So when I went there, I just left my specialist. I went there. He said, the baby is coming. You cannot go back home. I'm like, what? What? He said, the baby is coming.
Oh, wow.
So I go, yes, they rushed me. I called my husband. They kept me at St. Francis. And then when my specialist, my doctor came, you all, it is so just crazy how things unfolded. She rushed me in, uh, trying to, this is real. This is nothing, no fairy tale. This is real talk. She
Yeah.
rushed me in. It's unbelievable when you say it, trying to push the baby back up. And I could hear her saying something like using saline water or some stuff to push the
Uh-huh.
baby back up. I could hear them, and I started telling them, I hear you. What are you saying? What's the matter? And then I heard her telling somebody, go get the anesthesia, give her something because she can hear us. I'm hearing all this. So that's why
Yeah.
I said, can't nobody tell me about God. I heard all of this. And then therefore they gave me more medication or something so I could go out. And then when I came back too, when I was in recovery, I asked my husband, I said, something went wrong. What happened? He said, well, he said, well, she said the baby was coming. So she pushed the baby back up. I said, Paul Anthony, I think they use water or something, saying something about pushing. He said, are you serious? And he said, Sonya, the only thing they said when you came out, you was saying, and I think I like remember my hand saying Jesus rocks. And they said, well, you wherever you were, you was having a conversation with Jesus or doing something because when you came to, you were saying Jesus rocks with my hand thrown up like this, saying Jesus rocks. And so then after they had performed their procedure, it was 6 hours later, I was dying because I ended up being toxic from what they done. The baby was coming. Yes, after all of that,
Mhm.
nobody listening, dealing with all of this. So in my mind, here I go again. So my body is in distress and mentally I am also because I'm like, oh my God, when I think I have it right here in my hand,
Mhm.
I don't have it. I don't have it. And I'm questioning myself again. I'm saying, okay, maybe I'm not a real woman. Maybe it's just something really wrong with me. Maybe I don't deserve this. God, what did I do not to deserve this? And then when the doctor came in there, he had pushed my husband out. He was like, get out. Always, oh, we got to get her old. And all I remember, all this stuff going on, people coming in, they rushing, they pulling. And then I could feel my body sliding out of that bed. I could feel it. It's nothing I could do. And the next thing when I came back to whatever they did, um, they had taken the baby and I just named him Baby Manning. And I remember that my husband saying, it was a boy. It was a
Oh,
boy. And
wow.
it's like I had to deal with the toughest things because then I had to wait till the coroner come to the room. Yes. And my husband asked, could he just hold the baby? Could he just hold him? And just to see a man wept like he did, because that was his son. That was his son. And the coroner came and they pronounced that the baby had died. I think the baby lived like in an hour, 30 minutes or something like that.
Oh, my.
Once again, here I go again. I'm at a Catholic hospital. Here I go again. I have to bear this baby. So I'm automatically saying, okay, I birthed two children. I buried the first girl, Kennedy and I. Now I'm finna bury the boy. Here I go again, but you still have to show up. You you still have to be everything you need to be. And really, I didn't have time to grieve because things were happening so fast. So it's easier just for me to blame me.
Mm.
Yeah, it was easier for me just to carry this. But then I needed the tools for somebody to help me learn how to process all of this, how to help me to just get up in the mornings and want to get up and realize I'm okay.
Right.
I'm good. Things happen. Just because bad things happen to good people, you don't have to make it about you.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed the tools and I needed the skills to learn how to do that because it was just easier to shut down. It was easier just for me not to talk about it because it hurt so bad and I didn't want to hurt. And I
Okay.
knew if I talked about it, I was really going to feel the pain of it all.
So
But
did you just try to go
mhm,
back to your regular life? Is that what I'm hearing? You just try
yes,
to avoid everything?
yes, it was easier.
Mm.
It was easier just to walk around with that void because if I talked about it, I had to acknowledge it.
Right.
And I wasn't ready to admit and acknowledge that, okay, Sonia, you had two kids. Okay, Sonia, they're not with you. And I'm just trying to figure out how to just get up and look at the people because they see me. So I just threw myself into work. Okay, I'm finna get about this. Once again, here I go. That never happened. Let
Mm.
me move on.
Okay.
I don't want to deal with it. So at this point, I have one in Arkansas, and I didn't want to deal with it. So I put baby Manny in Bastrop. Oh yeah, in Louisiana. Because if I put two babies side by side, oh God, there's too much. I got to deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's easier just, hey, put them in two different states.
Mm.
Yes. And so here I go walking around. Here I go again with a smile on my face.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Trying to take care of everybody else to make sure that everybody else was doing good. How you feeling? But
Mm-hmm.
I was saying nobody see me. Hey, everybody still want me to show up and do what I do, but nobody see me. Hey, I'm going to praise and doing praise and worship. I'm showing up at church, and I'm like, God, can somebody throw me a lifeline?
Right.
Can somebody show me an anchor? Can somebody just see me? And I'm saying, oh God, they supposed to be so anointed, all these people. But
Right.
can anybody see me? I'm drowning. I'm sinking. Nobody is seeing me. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? Yeah.
So what did you do?
Well, I decided to talk to God for myself. I
Mm-hmm.
decided to reach out to some people to try to get help. People that had gone through what I went through. And God had me to write a journal, to start journaling. And anybody know me, I'm not one for journaling.
Okay.
But God ended up blessing me because I end up helping others.
Mm-hmm.
When people went through the same thing I went through, I was able to go and we kept passing that journal along from one person to the next person. I had a friend of mine. She's a minister now. Well, now she's a nurse practitioner
Oh, okay.
also, and she went through that after me, and I was able to walk her through it. And I think that's when my healing process started. And
Right.
I journaled day for every day. And then when that happened to her, I took my journal and told her to start filling in the pages. I was able to go there and pray with her when her baby died. And then it just kept going on. And then when I told her when she's done with it,
Mm-hmm.
pass it to somebody else. So I think it went through six ladies until we had to get a new journal.
Oh,
And
wow.
so after that, I moved on. And why I ended up getting pregnant again?
Mm.
My husband said, Sonia, let's do it again. Let's try it again. If you notice, I always said my husband said, if you notice that,
Yeah.
because I didn't want any kids. And I think at this point it was a fear factor, to be honest. To be honest. I
Yeah. Who?
think I was afraid. Yeah, I was afraid that it was gonna happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But one day I was home, I was praying, and I was saying, God, lead me and guide me. And then I just began to fall on my face and I prayed. And I said, God, I need your help. God, I need therapy. God, I need, I just began saying all of these things. God, lead me and guide me. And then he took me to the scripture. I'm telling you all, the woman with the issue of blood.
Mm-hmm.
He said, people like to talk about the problem that she had.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you all, y'all, I'm just boohooing, I'm just crying. He said, get up. He said, go to that story. I'm like, I've read that story. You know, we tell God I read this story before. Oh, I know that with my eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
But then after all the years I've read it, he said, look up issue. He said, look up the word issue. And I'm like, issue? This is so. And then when I read the definition, it describes certain things, but the definition that helped me, it said an important matter to be solved. Ah, he said, I know, right? He said it's an important matter to be solved. He said, now you can continue to let this go on, then it's gonna become an issue. I said, oh my God, I think you're trying to heal me from this and move me on. He said, or I can heal you right now. And I
Mm.
can hear you everywhere you hurt. He
Okay.
said, but if you don't give it to me, it's going to become an issue. And I'm like, God, so I've been allowing all these things to become an issue because I didn't want to deal with it. And
Jordan.
yeah, I was like, this is crazy. I said,
Mm-hmm.
because I allowed it to become an issue instead of going to get therapy, trying to deal with it the first time, trying to get to go to the people that I know can help me handle this and help me process it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it became an issue. A lot of times we like to hide behind things, you
Yeah.
know, and then
Still
that
using
particular,
resources.
yes, I didn't want, because people think it's embarrassing. You
Mm.
know, to be honest, if you go to therapy, that's embarrassing, or you weak, or you this, and that's why I just don't believe in that because you are skilled, to help us navigate life when we have no answers, when we don't know how to get there. We need a vehicle to teach us how to get there. So
Mm.
this particular time, even before you all, I end up trying to get pregnant again. I was in my house. I was
Mm.
sitting there. It seemed like the weight of the world was on my shoulders at that time. My husband, he would go out of town a lot. And
Okay.
so this particular day, I was in the house and I was going to the bathroom. And the enemy, it was the enemy, he spoke to me. He said, you ought to just kill yourself. He said, because everybody's looking at you like you crazy. And he said, everybody just see you as this poor, pitiful. Well, you're not strong. You're not. You're weak. You can't even have a child. You weak. You can't even deal with your issues. You weak. He said, so I just think you need to end it. I'm like, and I'm just crying. You need to end it. And then I began to think like, God, everything he's saying is true. That's what I'm thinking. Everything he's saying is true. Oh, wow. He said, so how can you help anybody? You can't even help yourself. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I needed somebody to speak life into me. You
Right.
know, that's why if I would have went ahead and dealt with the issue before I went to therapy and dealt with it, I may have not made it to the point where I'm about to go now.
Okay.
And so when I went there, I went into my bathroom. He said, run the water in the face bowl. He said, put some ice in it. Just going on telling me exactly. I don't want to go into all of that because somebody may be on here telling me exactly how to do it. And the
Mm-hmm.
things that he told me, I had never thought about that before in my life. And he was telling me, now when you do it, you're going to have to do it right. He said, when
Mm.
you do it, you're going to have to kill yourself. Make sure you do it right because if not, people are not going to let you live it down. So you're going to
Oh.
have to do it. And I had never thought about committing suicide before in my life, no matter what things I've gone through. I never thought about it. So the strongest person, you will have thoughts sometimes. You will try to go do it sometimes. Not, not that. And we want to say they just gave up on life. No, you have moments. You have
Yes,
moments.
exactly.
And yeah, I was just having a moment. And it was
Mhm.
too big for me. It was too much for me.
It's so important that when you have those moments that you reach out to a professional for help. Like, don't just sit in it.
Sometimes it's easier just to sit in it because if that's all you know what I'm saying? Just sit
Mm.
in it. But if I would have called somebody at that point in that time, I really, what do you think? I don't think I would have basically made it to that point if I would have had somebody to speak and say, "You're okay. You had a moment. Let's deal with it. Let's process it." But what do you do when nobody around you, or you going places, you'll be the only person or the first person that decided or talked about therapy?
And I'm sure at that year it was difficult. And that's why
Hmm.
it's so important that we break the stigma.
Right.
Because when you went through what you went through, it was very stigmatized. Not being able to have a baby, then having suicidal thoughts. So you were dealing with a lot. And on top of that, you were dealing with the church.
That's, oh God, that's it. Because how can you be a leader in the church but you're getting therapy? How can you be a leader in the church and want to commit suicide? Oh God. And I remember the first time I told my story, oh, my grandmother liked to come unglued. Why would you tell that? Why would you say that? Oh God, that's embarrassing. You don't do that. Because that's the way she was raised. And so what she said, that's what I was afraid of.
Hmm. How did you
That.
do it?
Uh-huh.
I said, how did you deal with it?
Well, I decided that I needed to do what was best for me. And I went to my grandmother and told her, I'm sorry that I embarrassed you. I'm sorry that I aired it out. But that night, 7 women told me that they thought about committing suicide. And so that let me know that I wasn't the only one. And sometimes we go through things just not for ourselves, but for other people.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful that, when I went in there trying to do that, God began to speak to my heart and say, don't do that. Your parents love you. Your husband love you. And you all, this gonna sound strange, but when I tell you the house got so dark, it was just dark. And then it's like it was nighttime, but it was actually 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
And I was in there trying to do that. I was ready to do that. I was giving in to it. I had no fight left. I had no fight left. It was just me and my thoughts and the enemy. And I
Mhm.
was entertaining everything he said because it sounded good at that time.
Okay.
But that's why I'm grateful for Jesus. I'm grateful for my spiritual walk. I'm
Mhm.
grateful for the people that He's put in my life to let me know that therapy is okay. And that's what I want to let you all know.
Mhm.
And I guess as you can tell, I didn't do it. I didn't do
Right.
it.
Right. Praise
because
the Lord.
because I'm still here. And when I
Mhm.
tried to do it, God told me, He said, I love you. Your parents love you. He said, don't do this. This is not my will for you because I want to bless you. But you all, He had me to run out of my house. And for some reason, what I don't have to say for some reason, I know God sent my husband home early from Texas. He came home earlier. He said he just had to come home. And
Mm.
when he came home, God sent me out of my house because I couldn't fight all of that. Mentally, I couldn't handle it. And when he came home, he said I was sitting outside like I was in a daze.
Mm.
And he said when he came home, our house around, it was just dark. He
Wow.
said, but when he began to pray, and
Mhm.
he said, then he said he was just praying. I wasn't saying anything. And then he said, then I began to join him in prayer. Then it began to lift. Then it's like the sun began to shine again. Then it's like he said, my whole facial expression and everything began to change. And I am so grateful that I didn't do that. I just wish I would have had the tools at that time. I wish I would have reached out to somebody, and somebody maybe watching, or you may share. They was like, how can she be a leader? How can she say that? I'm grateful because it's not about you. It's
Mhm.
about me. It's about my walk with God. Your journey, your journey. Okay, I need therapy and a cup of Joe. So okay, and
Mhm.
your thing is you do what works for you, but we shouldn't put all of ourselves in a box just
Exactly.
because some people think they can do it without. I couldn't do it without it because I like to lost my life, and I thank God that He intervened on my behalf. Because if I would have ended my life, I wouldn't have had that 12-year-old today, Alexa Simone. So
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. So Yolanda, I just encourage everybody to learn from my mistakes, to
Yeah.
go to therapy. If you need help, reach out,
Yeah.
ask somebody. Just because you go to therapy doesn't mean that you don't love God. It doesn't mean that you're not trusting God or you don't have faith. You have a lot of people that have mental illness. They won't even take their medication
Mhm.
because people saying, "Oh, God is a healer." God heals through medication.
He
Eh,
does.
Yes. And then if your body was sick physically, you'll go to your family practitioner, you'll go get help. So
Yeah.
mentally, sometimes we're tired. I like to call it a girlfriend check-in. Everybody need a girlfriend check-in sometimes
Exactly. That's
because we go through so much.
we go through so much in life, and therapy, it should just be normal. It should be like going to get your cleaning, your dental cleaning. You go do
Yes.
that twice a year. You go to the PCP at least every 90 days. So maybe you're not to the point to where you need therapy on a weekly basis, but there's definitely nothing wrong with you getting therapy. Um, we hear these stories, so many times about people who have committed suicide.
Mhm.
And I get it, like I understand it. They're hurting and they don't feel like they have anyone that they can turn to. But when they complete the task, think about all of the people that they hurt.
Oh wow, I wasn't even thinking about that. In that moment, I
Hmm.
wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about I wanted to end it all. It was
And
unbearable.
they're thinking about in that moment. And so
Hmm.
that's why I say it's so important when those thoughts come to your mind, please,
Hmm.
please seek help. It is so important because then you leave your husband or you leave your wife, you leave your children, you leave your parents, you leave all of these things, and someone is left to have to pick up the pieces.
Oh wow. Oh, that's good. Wow, that's good because really you taking a coward way out. You're taking the easy way out to me. But I wasn't thinking about it at that time. And I know if I would have done it, people would have been saying you taking a coward, you take but at that time I just didn't have the tools.
And you're in so much pain. They be in
Yeah.
so much pain, mental pain. Um, and sometimes people are in physical pain, and
Yes.
that impacts their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't have one without the other. You can't have good mental health if your body is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sick in your body all the time, of course that's going to affect you mentally. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to give you negative thoughts. And then a
Oh,
lot of
that's good.
times when women have depression, they may have pain in their body. They may have headaches. They may have back pain. Their stomach may be upset. Not just women, men too.
But I
So
bet you they've never associated to mental health like you're saying. So it could be somebody listening because some of the things that you just described, I've never would have associated that with that. So that was good. That was very helpful
well,
because a
thank
lot of people may just not know that really.
you. Hmm. Yeah.
But I'm just grateful that I'm still here. I'm just
Ooh,
grateful that therapy is okay. I'm just so grateful to do me and figure out what I need and don't be worried about anybody else because people gonna talk regardless of, but you have to do what you have to do for yourself. We shouldn't suffer in silence
yeah.
because at the end of the day, you're living with it. So who cares about what people think about therapy? You just want to live. You need the tools to be able to navigate life. You need the tools to learn how to deal with difficult situations. People are getting divorced. People are losing their loved ones. Like my mom and my dad died. And so
Mhm.
life happens. But we got to learn how to deal with it and have the tools to cope with it because we want to live a fulfilled life. And I'm just so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for what all you do because it's so needed and you make it comfortable. You make talking it. I didn't even know, like you was telling me, girl, you need therapy for time management. You said so that's what I'm saying. So you just never know the things that you think is normal or you can handle it, but that will take a toll and affect other areas.
Right.
If you don't handle it correctly. So I'm just grateful for you and your staff and everything that you all do and bring to the table. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that someone has been blessed by her story. Um, Resolutions, Behavioral Health Services, we are here definitely to help you. And I believe that you can have Jesus and you can have a therapist and you definitely can have that cup of joe. All right. So please, 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 if you haven't already, please share this with someone. Tell them to go back and watch the replay. Yeah. And definitely watch Lady Sonia Manning on her live. She goes live every Monday and Wednesday at 8:30. Get on the live so that you can get you some tools as well. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we go? Miss Felicia said this was good. Everyone is saying thank you. Thank you for sharing. And so everybody, the feedback is really good.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you all for listening to my story.
Yep. We'll see you soon.